Hey dancers, it's Mr. Casey. I'm here at Innovative Dance Level 2B. How are you? I miss you guys so much. I know you've been working on your class material. If you haven't, make sure you are working on your class material as much as possible at home. I would take your class once, probably twice if I was your age. I would be taking your class twice a week. But to parents, definitely try to get them dressed down and keeping that sense of routine and discipline in their structured life, making sure that they are doing their class. Sorry, I'm bouncing my computer. Making sure that they're doing their work as much as possible, particularly their recital dance. Their recital dance is very complicated. There are two big groups. Within those two big groups, there are several 2 to 3 smaller groups that do things that reverse each other. They do certain movements with the right, whereas their companion does them to the left. Basically, it's really inefficient and really not possible at this point, unfortunately, to be able to do a full video tutorial on this number. It's too complicated. There are so many different counts. There are so many different individual moments that when we left, the kids knew it pretty much 95 to 99%. I was feeling very happy with it. I believe we had the ending that we needed to finish up, which for the show, when we get to it finally, when we're allowed to come back and dance together instead of on this virtual platform, we will finish it, if not even cut it. Now, their dances average to maybe even a little beyond normal length, so cutting it's not too big of a deal. Invention is the mother of necessity. Or is that vice versa? Necessity is the mother of invention. So I've been doing a lot of videos lately. So ultimately, I want to provide the best value that I can via this platform. Number one would be that they're taking class. Try to keep them on their scheduled routine. If they're taking class on Friday at 6:30 to 7:30 or 4 to 5 or 5 to 6, that is their scheduled dance time. That's really imperative. If that's not possible because of restructuring family life schedules, work, device availability, if you're working from home, I don't really have that luxury as a dance teacher. It's hard to work in certain areas right now, very stressful. Getting the kids moving is integral. Keeping their brains busy and not just watching TV and doing app type things on tablets, to getting them moving. So if you keep that sense of discipline and structure, getting them dressed down, getting them a specific "you do ballet at this time," I think that's going to be healthier for all of us in the long run, and it'll make the transition back to the classroom way easier when we can finally do that and see each other again in person. Dance should be passed on live. It should be from a teacher to a student, a coach to a dancer, live, with interaction, with feeling, with emotion, with challenges, with growth. That's very important to me. And it's really been hard for my mental health not being around your kids. Your kids are one of my rocks and weekly joys. Plus, I teach 6 days a week, so it's been going from literally 6 days a week, 12-hour days, to nothing, and having to learn all these new platforms. Just a little behind the scenes for me. So in general, getting back to your piece, like I said, it's a little complicated because there are so many different groupings and patterns. So what I'm going to do is walk through the number a little bit. Your parents have my email, my business email that went out with a studio mass email. Please utilize that. Send me videos, send me pictures of your dancer. I'd love to record something back for them personally. Send me questions. It probably would be a little more feasible doing it that way than being on a video tutorial to learn the dance. But like I said, most of them had 95% of it. So as long as they're keeping it refreshed in their head, their little section of it, I'm sure it's going to be great. And it'll only take 2 to 3 hours to put it back together before we get it on stage. Totally doable. Hopefully once we figure out the schedule and the right now the new normal, but then the new normal after the new normal will be better for all of us. I guarantee it. We're all in this together. We're all part of this community and arts world and small business, and um, finding that sense of community is very important to me. I'm from a small town, so it gives me great warmth to see people reaching out and going on errands for each other and checking in on each other more than they normally would. So anyhow, I am going to move my screen so you don't get a little seasick here. And I'm going to walk through this number. Your music is on your parent portal. I would encourage the kids to be listening to it daily, if not dancing it daily, just to keep it in their head. That's going to do the best for them. It's called Prelude. To find it on my tablet in a minute, but in just to walk through it. Dancers, you're with me. You understand. You've been in my class. You know what's going on. So I have a group that has been staged. Dancers, reminder, stage right, stage left, center stage, up stage, down stage as we go through direction, okay? So I'm not going to be demonstrating a lot of the steps because there's just too many different, there's thousands of different movements within the different groups, within the whole dance. So the group stuff I'll try to go over specifically where you're all dancing together. So we have group stage right, we have a group stage left in various poses, from lunges to sitting on the knees to sitting on the bums. You know your pose because in general we just kind of worked it out together. And I really choreographed this on the kids as opposed to walking into the studio with a clear, decisive idea. About level 2 to 3, that starts happening more and more. I like them to be interactive in the creative process. That's another part of the value of being in an in-studio class and staying with the studio is they're afforded that opportunity to work and possibly even create movements for themselves, which they do in this dance. So girls, you'll remember you're in your groups and the music starts and you all have your little transitionary movements, your port de bras that happen. And then from there, the groups all run back into a larger group formation that's here in the center of the stage. Relatively, it's first position. There are 2 or 3 girls that are doing third arabesque and then reverse third arabesque on this side. There are some girls in the back that are just holding position here. It's relatively a complicated formation. It kind of looks like an arrow turned at the audience. Girls, you remember what I'm talking about. From there, we go into our groupings of 2 lines. We do the little releve and we scooch back. If you remember, that step was called pas de courroux. You guys were really excited when I first taught it. And we demi-plie in 5th. This group, as they coagulate, I'll use the word, coming back into their line, do the opposite on this side. Yes. From there, the now two vertical lines on the stage are doing a bourrée into a diagonal line, arabesque. So we would have one group in the front, one group in the back in windows. I believe the back is doing arabesque here because they would have done their bourrées to the left and step through. From there, we all come together. One note on that. Let me pause this for a second. I want to check something. So with the music in the background, this is all the transitionary moments where the dancers are doing their little group sections. The concept of the ballet was that all the girls basically had a solo. They had their own little opening, which kind of explains, and you'll see this when it's done on stage, why a tutorial is the worst place to be able to impart this choreography. There's just so much going on. We're finally coming into and out of those formations. Girls, you'll remember with the background music to your formation. And then you do your pas de courroux into your bourrées. Demi-plie create vertical lines, and then you're going into your diagonals, and you're stretching out through your arabesques. And then we lift and hold the arabesque. From there, there are chugs, okay? There are chugs around. In a circle, the arabesque chugs around twice and a quarter. Then it goes through. One group goes to the back, one group goes to the front, and they switch lines. Okay. Dancers, you're remembering this. If you're not, draw pictures of what I'm talking about. Think about it. Get up and do it. Listen to the music as much as possible. That jogs most people's memories. As a dancer, I can say that. I was reviewing one of my other pieces for a younger class that I didn't remember much at all because I have an assistant. And then I realized, as soon as I turn that music on, I know the steps. It's just that academic thinking about them, I didn't. And kind of at the age where I don't keep a lot of notes anymore. So the new reel for me going forward is keeping more notes. And probably videotaping every year once we get into recital once a month. So that way there's a video on hand of updated or closely updated material in case anything big ever happens again. Which let's hope not. Let's just keep the studio afloat, the dancers a safe, healthy place to be, dancers having a nice artistic outlet, and local jobs. So, kids, you've done your chugs. From your chugs, if you have questions, again, you can email me. Your chugs, you would have finished in 2 horizontal lines with windows, you'll remember. And from the horizontal lines, we made a bridge. Now, there was a fair amount of touching in this dance, physical hand-holding, partnering, if you will. So that will all be deleted once we get back in the building. I've been to every dance this year has some sort of partnering in it. So it was one of my goals as a teacher was to get the kids touching more and more close with each other and having that self-confidence with each other, friendship, if you will, camaraderie. Plus, in advanced ballets, obviously they'll be doing partnering. But it's key that the kids remember the choreography as it is. Yes, you're touching hands here. Because when we come back to edit it, I don't want them confused and for saying, no, we took out the hand holding and for saying, no, we didn't. It's always been there. So ultimately, it's still there, but it will be edited. Parents, side note, it will be edited out of the final version. So girls, you were in a bridge, either facing front or back. Back goes out to the right arabesque, front goes to the left arabesque, and then you did skips to your diagonals, yes, all the way around the stage. And then from the diagonals, you did your polka step through each other, right, coming towards the center. So polka review, step together, skip, step together, skip, step, yeah? Step together, skip, step together, skip. So, if you have questions on polka, it should be in your classwork. If it's not, I will check that. And another reason to email me would be to say I would like in the updated class, which I'll be doing weekly, hopefully weekly, depending on restrictions. You might be able to see my kitchen. We will be doing specific things. So I'm asking a lot of the older kids, especially if there's something they want to work on or need work on, to send me an email so I can build the class out of what kids are needing whilst at home. Plus, some kids have literal dance studios in their house with workout gear for their families, and some live in an apartment where there's the bed and the table and the hallway. So it's really difficult to know exactly how much space you have to be able to work. But get outside, it's spring. Even if the rain's going away hopefully soon, get outside and work a little bit. So to review polka, since it is one of your important steps in level 2, step together, step, skip, step together, step, skip. Arms were on the waist. With the partners, we were holding hands, but again, that will fluctuate when we get back to classwork. So you go through each other. Remember, stage left always goes over stage right, period, the end. For the rest of eternity in Mr. Casey's classes, pretty much a lot of professional ballets too. Stage left crosses over in any crossed, weaved type choreography. From there was a trio, Elise, Brenna, and forgive me, I can't remember the third girl in the back, coming forward, doing that material as well, through to the front, and then they finish up front. From there, the girls who are doing their skips around go and they fill in some spaces on the sides. That is as far as we got in their dance. Like I said, the day we left, the last day of classes looked good. I felt confident. There was no way any of us could have seen this coming, but I felt like they were doing great work. So assuming that they can remember all of that up through that section, great. If not, I understand. I'm willing, and I have a secondary plan in place that when we get back, if in fact the tutorials and class videos did not work, I know exactly what we're going to do. We have beautiful costumes. We will have a showcase. So it's just a matter of scheduling right now. And once we get back in the classroom, if we have to implement that second plan, that'll be easy. That's totally doable and foreseeable, and they'll look beautiful. Girls, this message is to you specifically. I miss you so much. I love having you in class. It's killing me to not see you and not see you dance and celebrate you dancing. So please try to work on your ballet as much as possible and continue working on the steps. All my love. Stay healthy.